How do you foreshadow elements from your story? Sorry for repeating it. Oh, no problem. I literally missed it. Um, Actually, I didn't. I think it was foreshadowed. Foreshadowing. Um, the way that I usually handle it is I'm really bad at it. Um, because I tend to like hide tons of things so no one really gets what's going on. Um, Foreshadowing is typically something you kind of want to deal with after the fact, and it's really helpful to have everything written out before starting in the case of foreshadowing, because foreshadowing is something that you can really add after you're done writing to like hint at things, um because it's a lot easier to see how well your foreshadowing is working if you have people read over your stuff at, and get their reaction to it, because it's really hard to look at your work objectively, um, especially when it comes to foreshadowing, because you already know what's going to happen. So, yeah, knowing what readers are getting out of things is a lot more important. So I'd find like a trusted friend to look over your stuff once you're done, and you add in a bunch of foreshadowing, um see if people are understanding what's going on too early or too slow. The ideal time for your reader to discover a mystery is basically a page before it happens, because then they feel like they're smart and they're in on things, and the story isn't like for babies. Because like when you figure out what something's gonna happen a mile away, you're like, I already figured it out. How obvious. Whereas if you never figure out, you're like, well, that's stupid. I would have never got that. And you don't want your reader feeling stupid. You kind of want them to figure it out like right as it's about to figure out. But that's for reveals. Sometimes you can foreshadow things that aren't even reveals. Trick your reader into thinking they're smart, basically. You're the smart one. You're the one who's holding all the cards. I always wouldn't reveal enough because I was worried that my readers would be too smart. But the real answer is that most readers aren't as smart as you because you have more information than they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to give people the building blocks to uncover a mystery. And like foreshadowing doesn't necessarily have to be something that helps people uncover something. I find a lot of fun foreshadowing happens where it's almost like a treat for people who read things a second time over. Like, I always love that stuff. Because a lot of times you'll foreshadow a bunch of stuff and they won't get it at all. And then it'll happen and they won't even think about it. But then they read it again and they're like, oh, damn. Oh, no. They're the murderer. That's why they were doing that. Like, it's just, yeah, it's fun.
Yep.
But yeah, you really need outside eyes in the cases, which can be helpful with like when you're writing a webcomic, because you will post it and people start like uncovering, and if you start getting comments where they're guessing things, you're like, oh crap, they figured me out. However, the gut instinct for that when they figure you out is to be like, well, now I have to change the plot. No, you just confuse them. Just throw them off the track. Because I've had people who have like uncovered the secrets to Magpie, but they're not confident enough in their answer at that time. They're like, I think this is happening. And then the next page, something like different happens that leads them to think something else might be occurring, which it's not. It has its own explanation. But then they're like, well, that doesn't make sense anymore. And you're like, haha, I got you.
Yeah. Did was it George R. R. Martin who said something like, if people can guess what's gonna happen, like you're laying the bricks correctly or something. Like
Yeah.
you're giving the right hints.
Yeah, you want them to be able to guess it, but you also want them to doubt themselves a bit.
Yeah, you need red herrings and twists. But
Yeah, you don't want people like after the fact being like, "Wait, that came out of nowhere. That was like really exciting, but what?" You
you
know,
don't
like
want a Deus Ex Machina.
you don't want Sherlock.
Yeah. Listen.
Like the answer shouldn't be, "Oh man, they're a wizard. They figure it out." Like you want people to be along for the ride. Like I know this isn't all foreshadowing. I'm mostly talking about mystery and reveals. I love those. That's my favorite stuff. I've gotten better at it. I used to like do it like way too much. Like I said, I used to hide things too much. That's just how I go about life. Like I'm convinced people like are spying on me, but then I learn that they're not, and I'm like, oh.